There's no disagreement about the need for growth policies. But to say that and use it as an excuse not to provide extended unemployment benefits is really indefensible. You can't say to people who have been out of work for 26 weeks, who are there through no fault of their own, and who must be looking for work, that because of the absence of growth policies, they should essentially be out in the cold. That's close to a cold-blooded approach to this issue. And if you mention states like Iowa, look, in some states, if there's a surplus, people who are out of work, in most cases, if they're looking for work, and they must, will find other work. But it makes no sense to take the position of the administration, and that's what the gentleman from California essentially was reflecting, where they say that historically the unemployment rate has had to be at a certain level in order for unemployment compensation to be extended. And there was, they say, an exception after September 11, 2001. It's really hard to fathom how people would use 2001, September 11, as an excuse not to extend benefits. The unemployment rate when President Bush signed the extension was 5.7. It's now 5.5. And essentially what you're saying is we're going to deny benefits to well over 1 million, with 3 million more likely to come, because of a difference of 0.2%. And then you say you want it to be targeted. But as we pointed out, the data vary from month to month. One month it's 100 metropolitan areas with unemployment rates over 6%. More recently it's been 65 or 66. It will probably go up. How do you in good conscience stand before people in those areas and say no? I mentioned to the gentleman from Illinois, I asked for 2 additional minutes.
I yield the gentleman 2 additional minutes.
Gentleman?
Look, I asked the gentleman from Illinois how he would respond to people in certain areas. I don't know how you do that. I asked the gentleman, and I didn't mean to get personal really, but just to raise the issue poignantly. If you're from the state of Washington, as he is, and there's higher unemployment than 6% in Yakima, how do you say to the people there, you don't get the extension while people in other states receive it? It is simply not...
Is the gentleman yielding his time? Well, I would first point out to my good friend from Michigan that I represent the state of Illinois. And under the legislation which we offered in committee, my state of Illinois would receive extended unemployment benefits. I would also state that
but that isn't the position.
Republican minority on the committee
Please.
supported extension of unemployment benefits.
But let me just take back my time. Look, the position, that hasn't been the position of the administration. It's used the 6% level. That's what they're talking about here. And you have to go home and explain to the areas, I mentioned 3 in Illinois, because the state isn't above a certain level, but areas are, you don't get it. While people who are in a state like Michigan with over 6%, everybody does. But the trouble is, everybody counts in this country. Everybody who's out of work 26 weeks through no fault of their own and looking for work. They have to be looking for work. Yeah, I read these letters from people in Michigan, and I just say this. Just read letters from people in your state. No longer can you go to unemployment offices in most states because they're not there, so people aren't in line. But they're in line in this country. As I said, if you counted, I guess one more minute if I might.
The gentleman, an additional minute.
Gentleman's recognized.
If you counted the people who are now exhausting their benefits or have, and those who are likely, it would reach the line from here, this capital, to Denver. So don't talk about energy policy. We have to face up to that. Don't talk about trade policy. We have to face up to that. Talk about the lives in the homes of over 1 million people. I just hope that you withheld, or there were withheld, the 3 votes necessary to get the 2/3 yesterday. I know the maneuvers on this floor, but essentially they're obeying the position, if not the orders from the White House, instead of the orders from the people at home. I urge strongly support of this. I urge that we pass it with even more votes than was passed last time. We send it to the Senate so we can get this job done.